Hello, Martin here from TSI. Hope you are well. It's been a while since we've done a video, so I thought I'd bring you one right now. This one is going to be on a subject that I'm kind of new to, for the simple fact is I've never really bothered with this kind of product because they'd never kind of worked. So, talking gel ball, I'm going to take my hat off because it's casting a shadow, talking gel ball and talking grenades. So as I said, I've never really bothered about grenades for gel ball skirmish for the simple fact I've never really found them reliable enough. I wouldn't say not effective, because if the thing goes off, it can be super effective. And I've seen grenades used to extremely effective use. Seen guys clear a room, clear a whole passageway, or even just to be able to deploy a grenade for somewhere that they couldn't get a rifle shot. Main kind of scenario is you can't shoot around a corner without presenting a target. For the simple fact is you're not allowed to blind fire, shooting above your head or around a corner. But you can quite easily pop a grenade around the corner and not get shot. So, as I said, never really bothered with grenades. And I'll explain a little bit why. Now this one here is one of the kind of pineapple-y kind of ones. It's one of the newer spring grenades, I guess. Probably not new, but currently still on the market. And it is effective if it goes off. Now, ignore my red tags. That's just so I can try and identify where it's gone when I've thrown it. But so, it's being a spring grenade. Pull the pin. And obviously, in theory, you pull the top tab up. But it doesn't go off in theory. It shouldn't go off in the air. Shouldn't go off in your hand. It should only go off on impact. Like that. Okay? And as you can see, it springs open. Now once it's loaded with gels, these tabs are all down and then, locked into place with the outer shell. And then you fill it full of gels. And you fill it full of gels through this bottom ringlet opening here that I could never open. So you can fill it full of gels. You got inside here, there's some fill holes. So you get the 3 ports full of gels. Now, if it deploys, it does throw the gels pretty well. You probably get a good 1.5 meters each direction, as long as it gives a good... There we go. Oh, and the cap just came off. As long as it deploys. Now, I had 3, lost 2, hence the tags, and then I bought another 3. Now they're not expensive. I think they're $45 for 3. I think it is something like that. So not overly expensive. I don't remember. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I've got the 4 now because I've lost 2. And out of the first 3, 1 worked reliably. Out of these 3, none work reliably. So I haven't actually used them in game. I guess probably the more you use them, the more you throw them, maybe the easier they might release, the easier the whole little kind of holding itself closed mechanism might release. That one wasn't bad. But again, not really used them. So they look the part, they look great, they're cheap in that they don't require gas to deploy. As long as you don't lose them, if they work, I guess they're effective. The other thing that's pretty important is that you don't lose your pins. If you do lose your pin, you can just use a split pin. But I don't know if you can see over here too well, but in this pouch is my surprise grenade. And in here, when I pull the tab out, my pin is connected to my rig. So I can't lose the pin. And obviously the grenade comes away from the pin. So they work well if they deploy. The other kind of grenade is a expanding CO2 grenade. This one's a Thunderbee. So when you pull the pin and once it's primed, you do have to pull this over. You can use the pin there. Pull it over, hold it down. Oops, nearly missed it. And then when you release it, like that, this hammer here actually pierces the CO2 bulb which is inside it. Now if you unscrew it, You get the workings inside, and then in here goes your CO2 bulb. Well, this one's already pierced, so that's obviously why I didn't expand. Now when that pierces it, the air stays contained in the outer skin, and then this expands through pressure and splits. And as it splits, it makes a pop noise. And they are pretty loud, hence the term Thunderbee. They are pretty damn loud out in the open. Inside, they're almost a bit too loud. So these work on just a radius of where it goes off. In theory, with a spring grenade, depending on the field, but most venues are pretty similar, you'll have a 3 to 5 meter radius of where that goes off. And it does, well, it should have to throw gels. If you chuck it on the floor and doesn't deploy, at most fields, and I definitely know this for Nuketown Gold Coast, is it doesn't count if it doesn't explode. These ones don't throw gels, it's just a bang, and it should have that same 3 to 5 meter radius, but again, kind of field specific. So these ones don't throw gels, they are just purely for the noise and the effect, and it is very effective and very noisy, which is pretty cool. You know, it's what it's all about. Not cheap. When the CO2 bulbs generally retail, let's talk Azrael's Armory, where I used to work, around about $1.75 each, or $10 for $15, or $50 for $65. So comes down the more you buy. So let's call it $1.50 per use for the CO2, and then the skin as well. I think the skins are something like $20 for 12. So every time you use one, you're talking a couple of dollars. Not too big a deal, but you also want to make sure you don't lose the thing, because that part of it is about $80 on its own, I think. Maybe not quite that much. So it's fairly pricey, very effective for sound and immersion, but pricey. Third kind of grenade. Now this is a brand newie that you might have seen just photos passed around recently. Now the Weekend Warrior Australia is selling these. This is most definitely a next level on the pineapple kind of grenade. So this is a CO2, sorry, no, it's not. This is a green gas powered grenade. Gas fills in the top tube there, and the gels go in the side window here. Now, ideally, you load it using a speed loader plunger kind of setup. So this is, you fill this with gels, and then you plunge the gels all the way in. The white band around here stops the gels from coming out once it's full, just a little trapdoor. Gas is fed in the top here. Once you pull the pin, with pressure in there, this center plunger pops up, and on impact, it deploys the gels. Now, because of the way the gels come out here, the gas pressure comes out with it, because the gas releases inside and pushes the gels out. You will find that this will spin around. So if it lands on its side, which is the kind of the most reliable way to deploy it, it will spin and probably cartwheel around a bit, which means you get a really good spray of gels. Now I'm talking a super effective spray of gels. These, as we said, maybe 1.5 meters each way if you're lucky. Make 2.5 meters if you get a really good throw. This will fill my double garage. So that's 4 or 5 meters each way. Gels will go everywhere. You'll hear them banging off the garage door. You'll hear them banging off the wall, banging off the toolbox. So that means they're throwing with decent force, probably a 150 FPS or something like that. Now, these are the dearest way of going about grenades. The unit itself is $110, but it is over and over and over reusable, and it's purely just a squirt of the gas to refill it. You don't replace the skin, you don't have to do anything else. Obviously, just put the gels in and the gas, and it's multiple time renewable. Completely serviceable. You unscrew the base, and I'll do another video on that. Inside there's some O-rings. Like anything green gas, You got to keep them lubricated, otherwise they will dry out. It was definitely recommended that probably every 5 or 10 or something like that fills of normal green gas, you'd probably want to use a silicon-based gas as well, so ideally a maintenance gas, which keeps those O-rings lubed. But this is absolutely a different world to that, and obviously a different purpose to that, but still so much more effective. Absolutely outstanding. They are by the brand, I don't know if you'll see it, 40 Max. They make a lot of the dart style 40mm projectiles. They're super tough and sturdy. The exterior is a really thick injection, a molded plastic. You can see how thick it is. You can see how thick it is here. Probably a good 2 millimeters. There's inserts in there, which is all part of the top. Really good. There is more weight in the bottom than anywhere else, so you'll probably find it's going to hit the deck on the lower end. So this is aluminium. Might get a little bit scuffed up, a little bit dented. The sample that we got before we started, put an order in, had been thrown hundreds of times, I'd imagine. Worked perfectly. Had a few little dents in it, had a few little battle scars, but worked perfectly. Actually even looked even better than brand new. So absolutely next level. Now these are for sale on the weekendwarrior.com.au. As I said, $110, definitely worth it. Easy to load, easy to refill, so far completely maintenance free. Same size, pretty much the same size as most kind of grenade setups, which means they'll fit in most pouches. So these are some Viper tactical pouches. This is a 40mm. Oh, sorry, this is actually the grenade pouch. So it drops in there perfectly. This one's designed to be able to hold taller stuff as well, so the 40mm. So that one fits in perfectly. This one here is an Elite grenade pouch, so it's more of your taco type. So this one will have some elastication to it, so a little bit trickier to get in, especially when it's not connected to something. Loosen it all off and it'll sit in there really nicely once it's tucked away. So taco type, and I actually really like using a radio pouch. This is the Viper radio pouch. So it's got the kind of half body coverage with the tether at the top. That sits in there really nicely, and you can obviously pull the elastic down. As you'll see on my Plat Attack rig here, that's a radio pouch from 511 Tactical. That's a radio pouch from 511 Tactical. This is the one the pineapple grenade was in, and as you'll see, disappears in there nicely. I would do the same kind of thing using the tether so that my, if I can get it out, so that my firing pin is attached, so I can actually pull it out of the pouch really easy using the draw cord. So, really cool piece of kit. You saw the video more than likely, well, I hope you did, on the Facebook page of this in slow-mo, just spinning around right here on the floor, throwing gels everywhere. I had safety glasses on, and I felt them going all over me. Outstanding. Couldn't be happier. Don't really know what to do with these now. They're kind of obsolete now that this is around for gel throwing, and this is around for making bang noises. Between these two, there's nothing else really needed. And I'm going to leave you with that. Thanks very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll put the link, actually no, I probably won't, but you'll find this on the Weekend Warriors website. We've got a handful in stock at the moment, definitely more available, and there will be more coming. We've already sold 75% of our initial order. More will be coming very soon because this is brilliant. Absolutely superb. Thank you very much, guys. See you again soon.